Welcome back to the For the Win Xbox podcast, episode 56. I think it is 56. And I have been promoted to the garage. Last couple weeks, I was in the closet, literally, not metaphorically, literally in the closet. And now I am, I have an upgrade here. Just look.
Check it out.
Got lots of room,
Is
which is great. Let me see. No, it's insulated, so it actually is like room temperature.
Whoa.
We'll just if you're watching on YouTube, say we got there's the hiking gear over there. There's the poster, file cabinets, storage, and then on this side, more storage, ladder. I'm Peloton? Anyone? Yeah, bougie, right?
How often does that get used?
Actually, I think her dad uses it. I think he uses it. But yeah, we got an upgrade, so we're living the dream. Living the dream. Lots happened in Xbox this week, and we are an Xbox podcast. So
the number one Xbox podcast, I might add.
Yeah.
I don't know what metric is measuring that, or
no. I was thinking about this, John. I think we need to change that because there are a couple Xbox podcasts that are a bit more popular, and when they go live, they have 200 people. But I bet we could maybe get close to staking the claim on fastest growing Xbox podcast.
Yeah, that's a good way to spin it.
Potentially, yeah. Spin it in our favor. But anyways, let's get to the comments. We always do that first. So, here we go. So the first comment we got was from Wheel in Motion 430. Said, "You had me until you said technically isn't necessary." Which I have no clue what that means. I actually responded to it and said, "What do you mean?" And then they responded, "I've started watching your content and it's based." Thank you. Your take on Halo, I agree with for the most part. I'm all about keeping Halo. I waited outside GameStop at midnight for Halo 2's release back in 2004. I just think new stuff added to Halo is fine as long as they're willing to listen to the community and get rid of those new things if they suck.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. If it sucks and the fans aren't having fun playing the game, then if you can change it, change it.
It sucks. Get it out of there.
Get it out. Locked and Loaded 9867 said 343 is not dead. It's wearing a skin suit called Halo Studios. Same work culture, same employees, different SJW groomer leadership. That's a bold claim. And then they also commented, I've been a Halo fan since day one. I waited for Halo 2 Metal Collector's Case. Nice. I own and have read every Halo book. Halo's dead, 343 killed it. Stop lying to the few viewers you have. Now that's where I got kind of confused because I was like, is he talking to us? But if he listened to the podcast or literally any of my content ever, they would know that I don't I am not pro 343. So I don't know. Do you? Does that make sense to you?
I still got the inserts, the Slurpee inserts, advertisement for the strategy guide.
Oh, nice. Did you hear what I just said, or did it?
No, I heard what you said.
That's good.
Yeah, I think he. I'm assuming it's a he.
Yeah, for sure. I think he was confused or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe a little confused. I think he's like arguing, not knowing that we're on the same side and think the same things.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, did you listen to any of it? Because
which maybe not. Maybe listen to the beginning.
He could have just looked at the thumbnail and commented. That's
true.
a very real, because the thumbnail is just us, and it asks the question, can the same studio killing Halo save it? So
right.
We might have that situation.
And like
here.
I've seen like a lot of people claiming or just saying, and this I think is true, but that it's like it's not 343 anymore. Like they cleaned house, they got rid of a lot of people, you know, There's new staff, there's new leadership. The current leadership is the one responsible for, you know, fixing MCC and Infinite and bringing it back to the point where it is today. And you know, maybe that's true, but part of me is like, you know, maybe it is. You know, they just have to kind of prove that they're different and they're going to do something different. Because I think there is like a lot of Microsoft involvement and meddling potentially, and so I do feel for those developers that, you know, are, you know, good and love Halo and want to see Halo succeed and aren't the typical, you know, developers that we see in their vid docs and, you know, advertisements and stuff like that. Like I still just can't get over all of like the middle-aged moms in that last video that we watched. Like I just can't, I do not understand it.
Yeah.
It's just like such a stark contrast to the development team of the Bungie trilogy, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. Like they still just got to prove it. And, I mean, obviously the leadership's different from when they launched MCC completely broken and Infinite completely broken and unfinished. So like there's that. So maybe they might release a feature complete game finally.
Maybe.
But yeah, I'm really just like nervous about it. I don't have a lot of hope or faith in the current state of things. Like to the point where I don't even have MCC or Infinite installed. I still have MCC installed on my PC for the occasional mods and things like that, but like the multiplayer is just like scuffed on MCC and Infinite's still just kind of Infinite, and I just really don't want to support 343 by playing their games at the moment, so I'm not playing them.
Definitely not. And I do think you're right, because it's been a week now, and the general consensus from the announcement that we covered in last week's episode, for those who don't know, last week 343 Studios literally killed their own name and rebranded completely to Halo Studios. They completely erased their Twitter, deleted every single tweet on their Twitter, locked it down, got rid of it. So basically deleted their whole history, essentially. And so that lives on, you know, online and in our minds and hearts, and everyone knows, Halo fans know. But it's essentially like this, you know, trying to just really distance themselves from the brand that they tarnished so bad. And it's kind of like a, you know, it's like kind of an unfair move, because at the end of the day, it's like, now if they do release something poor, now we have to use the name Halo in our trashing of this studio. And we have to say Halo Studios is trash. Halo Studios dropped the ball. Halo Studios, like any negativity is now going to be put on the Halo brand, which is to me, I'm like, point. That is that's kind of a low move. And I'm sure they I don't know. I would put it at a coin flip, but I want to say they wouldn't think of it and scheme it out this way. Be like, well, if we name it Halo Studios, people, that's going to be kind of conflicting for people, and people aren't going to trash Halo Studios. Halo is the strongest, one of the strongest gaming IPs around. And the only reason 343 has had any success, their
strongest meaning brand recognition.
Yeah, brand recognition, worldwide global phenomenon. It's a game, that made Xbox, built the Xbox brand. And so they've been riding that wave for so long. People bought Halo 4 because Halo 3 was the greatest FPS to ever grace a console, and one of the greatest of all time. And then when that falls apart, then it's well, there's been some time. Halo is still so upheld in people's mind, they buy Halo 5, and so anyways, all that to say, I'm with you. I don't really believe it. And when people say, oh, but it's all new people, and Pierre Heinz, the guy who took over and worked on MCC, yada yada yada, he's often hailed as oh, he made MCC so much better. And I'm still well, MCC is kind of trash. It's riddled with hackers. They abandoned it. They left it. It's had a 10-year run, which was abysmal. They did some things good, but for the most part, there are so many small details, they just left them. And so to me, that doesn't speak of someone who cares about Halo. That doesn't speak of someone who cares about all the details and Halo fans and what fans are saying. That to me is just doing the bare minimum to get by. And it's just not a priority. They just don't care. And for me, I'm dude, you take over, why not and again, Microsoft has a big part to play in this, but why not be hey, we're going to get MCC to truly where it can be, so you guys can play this for the rest of your days if you want to. You know what I mean? We're going to work out some of these bugs. We're going to get an anti-cheat. We're going to get all the hackers out of there. We're going to we care about you guys. We still want you to love Halo. But it's no, they just said, nah, send it off into the sunset in its broken, jacked up state. And so it's just it's a complete joke. Playing multiplayer is a complete joke. You get banned when you lose connection. You get banned when someone team kills you, or you accidentally kill someone. You'll get banned, and then you'll be timed out for 5 minutes. And it's just a whole. It's just a whole joke.
Yeah,
so
all the
whole thing,
spoofing people's gamer tags and
totally crazy. It's security issues now have come up really bad in the last year. And so to me, when they're it's new people, it's a new studio, Pierre's at the forefront and he's saved MCC, I'm I don't want to be the negative person here, but I quit playing MCC because it was such a bad experience. I would get on and then get banned within 30 minutes and have to wait 10 minutes. And I'm okay, no, I'm not going to wait. And it's just a joke. So the verdict is out and I want them to prove us wrong. But anyways, thanks for the comment. That's why we like comments, because they spur on discussion. Do you want to read Bjorn's comment? Do you have them?
I don't have it pulled up.
Okay, I'll read it. I'll read it. Bjorn, weekly commenter. Welcome to Halo, the new woke nightmare. We will have a rainbow-colored Master Chief, and he will have a robot unicorn to ride on.
Robot unicorn.
I mean, look, we got all the what are they called? Nameplates, tag plates, or whatever. We got those for every holiday under the sun, so I'm sure armor's not far off. Okay, last one. New commenter, Mac Bambucha, said, "Look, I'm very pessimistic about the future of Halo, but that's thanks to Microsoft. When Halo Studios was still called 343 Industries last year, they fired the whole management, followed by the entire writing team, and shuffled/fired over 70% of the devs as well. Consider this. Among the team that worked on the vertical slice tech demo, or whatever you want to call it, less than 20% of them were 343 industry employees. None of the old management was involved either, unless you count Heinz that worked on rebuilding MCC 4 or 5 years ago. Not to mention they're on a hiring spree, so there's plenty of fresh blood coming on board too. This is de facto a new studio, working with a new engine as well, mind you. The new name makes complete sense. That doesn't mean it will change much. They still have to work under the Microsoft rulebook, temp hires included. But that doesn't mean Halo Studios isn't a new studio, basically speaking. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on that earlier. I think everything they said in the comment is accurate. But what I'm curious to see if what actually changes is, the company culture and the priorities and, their vision for Halo. And you can have as many new employees as you want, but if the company culture is still extremely toxic and the vision for Halo is to be a Fortnite clone,
right?
And leadership sucks, then it doesn't really matter how many employees. So I totally get what they're saying in that comment. So it's kind of just like a wait and see situation, which is like the worst, because at this point, like Halo Infinite, let's see,
what's it doing numbers
Halo
wise?
Infinite released in 2021. So we're towards the end of 2024, so that's like 3 years. And so by switching to a new engine and all that, like, how long until we get another mainline Halo release? Yeah. I think they might pump out a couple like remakes and things like that to tide us over, but yeah, I think it's going to be a while before we get a sequel or like a total reboot of a mainline Halo game.
I think Mint Blitz said in his latest video 2026. But I also heard a rumor from a guy on a podcast that on an Xbox podcast, and I take it with a grain of salt, but I think he is kind of an insider and has an inside source that the new Halo game is actually closer to coming out than people think. So, whatever. Honestly, I don't care. I mean, I care about Halo, but like, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Fresh blood's never like a bad thing. It's all about that leadership and that vision to make Halo great again. So we'll see if they can pull it off. Thanks for the comments, everyone. Make sure you leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on anything we talked about, and we'll read them. Thursday, John, there's an Xbox partner preview where they are going to focus on some third-party games. And they said in the latest installment, we'll feature a mix of new upcoming games for you from incredible partners like Remedy Entertainment, Sega, 505 Games, and many more. And so, yeah, they're going to be kind of probably dropping a couple surprises too. Hopefully, maybe about stuff they usually do, like now available.
They do some shadow drops.
Yeah, some shadow drop stuff. What are you interested in? Anything you're like jonesing for, or would want to see, or you think would be?
Well, they say, they mentioned Remedy, and so that like everyone thinks Alan Wake 2 or something with Control or something, but all I want is Max Payne.
Yeah, with Trilogy remaster.
Trilogy remaster, or I think they were just doing 1 and 2. But even like adding
Max Payne 1 plus
games
2
to Game Pass, adding them to Game Pass or backwards compatible on Game Pass or something like that would be cool. Especially 3, because I never played 3. And they still haven't like gotten there, but there was at one point there was talks of like Grand Theft Auto being Grand Theft Auto, but then having the Max Payne combat, like the shooting combat.
Yeah.
And like 5 and 4's shooting like isn't like the greatest thing ever. It's just kind of like it works, and then like Red Dead Redemption, the first one was like kind of sketchy too, not the best like gunplay, and I think they fixed it quite a bit for Red Dead Redemption 2. But Max Payne 3's combat, like if you watch videos of it or play it, it's just like so like buttery smooth and fluid, and you're just running and jumping and taking cover, and it's just like so pure,
Right.
So that would be cool to get some kind of update on that. I don't know what Sega has going on other than Yakuza games. It seems like a Yakuza game is coming out every 6 months or something.
Yeah. And they've been partnered with Xbox like for ages. So we've gotten like all the Sonics arcade stuff. Like there's just been like a lot. So I don't feel like there's anything from Sega just off the top of my head that I'm like, ooh, I really would kill for that, because they have done a lot with Sega in the past. But maybe some like, I don't know, some more like Master System Game Gear type stuff. I always, we had Game Gears growing up, and I'm always a sucker for those nostalgic games, even if they're like not even great. But I mean, if like Joe Montana dropped Joe Montana Football or dropped on the freaking Xbox Live Store for like $6, like, well, I guess I have to buy this.
Yeah.
But I haven't played, back to your Max Payne thing, I only played 1 because that's what we had. Right. And I have I'm gonna release this big YouTube video on Halo 2's 20th anniversary, November 11th of next month. And if that does well, I'm praying it does well, like gets over, I don't know, like 100,000 views would be insane. That would be incredible. But if it gets over like 25,000 views, I'll be happy, just because I haven't seen good numbers in a long time. But what I was going to say is, I would love to do a Max Payne marathon. And I was just thinking about how good the movement was in the first one, and not good as in like buttery smooth, but like I love just the way. Okay, hold on. I love the way you run with like dual guns. Like, like just the walking around and the specifically the walking on metal sound is just so ingrained. hear that walking on metal sound, and then just like some like druggy yelling, "What the?" You know, oh, dude, the game is so
the flesh of fallen angels.
But you remember how you just shimmy, like at a corner, you shimmy at a corner like this, and then like you line it up, and then you just dive around the corner. That's like it's just so fun. Like it's not practical, it's not realistic, it's not anything. It's janky, but it was fun. And like just jumping up on a car, diving off the car, bullet time, you know?
Yeah, there's one moment in that game, in Max Payne 1, that's like ingrained in my mind. It's like a core memory. But there's a mission where you're on the roof and you jump through a window, like a big skylight window. Mm-hmm. And so you jump down, and I landed like on this box, and then immediately went into bullet time. And there's like, it's like an elevated like platform, and there's guys all around. And immediately, as soon as I landed, went into bullet time and started shooting like as glass is like falling down from and it's just like that has stayed with me for years.
Original Xbox,
years
too.
And years. Yeah, playing it on the original Xbox. Yeah. Got the Platinum Hits version from Walmart.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, pretty crazy game that you know, Dad let you buy. I think you've told the story about getting it, and it had like XXX on the back, and Dad's like, "What is this?" Like, Dad, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Look at the rating. It just says rated M for violence. That's all it is. There's no,
it says on the thing like content. Violence. Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay.
Even though there's literally like druggies just everywhere, and like there's drug references like everywhere, and yeah, it's a dark game, and like it's like you're running on you're having like a nightmare, and you're running on a trail of blood while a baby's crying and your wife is screaming bloody murder. Like that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have any like Game Pass wishes. I'm a little backed up right now as it is. But I will be watching, and I will be excited for any cool things that drop. So, you know, it's always cool. Like, I feel like, especially maybe it's because we're doing an Xbox podcast, but maybe not. I feel like we're always getting stuff. Like, in the last couple of years, we're just like, things are always like happening with Xbox. Like, new games are constantly. I mean, we can't even cover it every week, but like there's new titles coming to Xbox Game Pass every week, and we don't cover it.
Can't even play everything.
You can't keep up with it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
But on that note, Xbox Cloud Gaming, they just released, or they just talked about it, will let you stream your own games really soon. So, you know, how it's set up before is like you could play like Game Pass or just whatever is like cloud enabled, basically. But now they're saying if you own it, if you have it in your library, you'll be able to play it on the cloud. Which is super freaking cool for people, especially for people who utilize cloud gaming. Yeah. I haven't had the need to. But I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool. They said even like games that you own physically, like you should still be able to play just like your entire library, just streaming it. So I have no idea how that's going to work. I mean, obviously there's barely anything on physical discs these days anyways. Like you're installing the game essentially and like the license. So I think it just will be able to tell if you have the license for the physical disc, and then you can just stream it. So, but I mean, that's really cool. And that's, that seems to be a huge part of Microsoft's strategy for Xbox, is to just get people playing Xbox games anywhere and everywhere, regardless of the device. They don't care if it's on an Xbox console. Like, they want you subscribed to Game Pass and playing games wherever you are in the world. So, yeah, I mean, nobody else, like Sony and Nintendo, aren't doing that. So,
right.
We'll see. We'll kind of see how that plays out. I'm curious. I want to see a better list of all of the devices that you'll be able to stream to. And what kind of internet connection? Because I've messed around with the cloud gaming a bit before. And I think when I was in Alaska and I had an iPad with me and like pretty terrible internet, but I was still able to connect my Xbox controller via Bluetooth to the iPad, and I was able to stream Hunter Call of the Wild while I was in Alaska, and it was pretty laggy, a lot of latency, but I shot like an elk. So I was hunting at this
in
Alaska, in the middle of Alaska.
I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that. That's freaking hilarious. I think you sent a picture, though. I'm pretty sure you sent a picture.
Because this was the time before I was in Alaska for a wedding a couple years ago. But yeah, so, but then like I've done cloud gaming like at home with like a good internet connection. And I usually do it on like indie, I don't know why I want to say like crappy games, but like indie games that I don't want to like take the time to install.
Indie used to mean crappy games, but not anymore.
Not anymore. No, there's no crappy indie games anymore.
No, of course, none. They don't exist.
But games that I don't like want to spend any time installing or managing on my hard drive or anything. It's just like I'm just gonna stream this and play it really quick and see what it is and then move on. So and at home over a good internet connection, it works great. I would probably still wouldn't play any multiplayer, but it works.
Yeah, I'm very excited about cloud gaming, and I'm excited to jump on board after years of trial and testing. I want it to be, they're inching closer and closer. They're trying to get it as seamless, as lossless, as close to a like in-person on a console experience, and they're fighting for that, and they're working hard for that. And so I'll be excited when it gets there. I'm not like against cloud gaming by any stretch, but it's not really for me right now. I don't need it, but I hope by the time, and I think this is what they're pushing for, is by the time the handheld comes out, cloud gaming will be really, really strong. It'll have, the minimal hiccups and latency, and it'll just work with the cloud almost as good as a console. And I think they've been ramping. And they gave themselves maybe because when did cloud gaming first get introduced? When did they start doing it?
That's when there's been companies that have tried it and done it like years and years ago,
and it didn't work great. 2021 is when they
when Xbox did it,
when they made it available, right? Because you had this, you had some like Google, what was it called?
Google Stadia,
Stadia, whatever. So Google couldn't even do it, which is actually kind of crazy to think about. But 2021, and so they've given themselves like a 5-year on ramp if we think the handheld's going to come out in the next year or announced or something, to really lock in this cloud gaming and get it down good. And I don't know, I'm not in the ins and outs of it, but it seems to be doing well. and it seems to be making progress and heading in the right direction. So if the handheld is purely like a cloud gaming device and it works well, I don't have any problem with that. And I can play the games that I own, right? That they just announced. Look, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to be using it for multiplayer, for competitive play. We're going to be using it to blast through dungeons, to hunt on Hunter Call of the Wild, to just have that casual, fun gaming experience when we're traveling, when we're sitting around the house around Christmas, whatever the case may be. And so I think this is like ramping up to be like a really, really cool potentially thing. And then you have the multiplayer components where it's like, hey, I'm going to bring my handheld over to your house for Christmas. And hey, let's potentially like do a LAN over the cloud. Let's do play some of these games together with our cool Xbox handhelds. What Switch you remember those Switch commercials where it's like, set my Switch next to yours and we'll play together and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, we used to do that with like the DS back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. PictoChat. Yeah. So I think it's exciting. It gets me excited to see what it's, things that are happening, and it's like all roads are just leading to this handheld. Like this, you can just see they're building towards it.
It would be so cool if they had. So the DS Lite, it had like a wireless communication, so that you didn't have to like be connected to Wi-Fi. So it had like a range of like
a Bluetooth type.
Yeah, so it had like a range of, I think, of like up to 100 feet, and then it got spotty. So like 100 feet, you could all be in a room or a house with people on a handheld playing multiplayer. It would be cool if like the Xbox handheld had something like that. Now I don't know, exactly all the ins and outs of how that works. I know the DS Lite, obviously, the stuff you were playing was very simplistic in nature.
Right.
Pokemon but it would be trading. Cool to have some kind of wireless connection without having to be connected to Wi-Fi. I think would be super cool. Super cool.
Sarah Bond, did you hear that? Just a thought.
Yeah,
I love that. So, exciting times. It'll be cool to have that. And yeah, I mean, Katie will love it because then I can, she likes, when she winds down, she likes to just like sit in bed and read. And I'm like, I want to go sit and play video games. So if I can, get a handheld, sit next to her and play, she'll be happy. She'll be like, oh yeah, sit here, play. We'll just hang out, do our hobbies side by side.
I can play Diablo without sound. I don't need sound to play Diablo.
Totally. So, it's cool. Before we get to what you call it, for the win corner and talk about whatever's going on with us in our personal lives, I picked up something the other day at the Hallmark store. Yes, Hallmark does have a store. They sell Christmas ornaments, and every year they do what's called a keepsake ornament, which is a one-off, basically like a collectible. It's a Christmas ornament. And I was literally in there. I didn't even know this was a thing. I was in there looking for something else. And lo and behold, I see this on the shelf.
Ooh.
We got a Master Chief 343. Microsoft released this Master Chief ornament. And it's like $22. It's like not super cheap. But I was like, you know what? And it's an official release. It's the classic armor. I mean, it's the infinite version, but I'm like, this is sick. this is cool. I like this. And so, I picked one up, and I also found another thing when I was at Walgreens doing some other random shopping with no intention of buying Christmas ornament. But then I saw this, and it's a little Xbox freaking One controller. It's like smaller, but the joysticks do move. And so I was like, you know what? Screw awesome. It. I'm just gonna buy it. Also at the Hallmark store, I found something, John, and I got you one. Do you want to show the people?
Blowing all this money on Christmas ornaments in October.
It's insane.
So David got me this Christmas ornament. OG
only released
Xbox. It's got the controller on top. Joysticks don't move. But these even have the ribs and everything. But Duke. What's cool about this one is if you press the eject button doesn't do anything, but if you press the power button,
I don't know if they can hear it.
There you go. The Halo theme.
Epic.
Thanks, Marty.
So it's pretty freaking
hang
awesome.
This pretty high up on the tree so the girls aren't pressing it constantly. But
yeah, and it came out this year. They just do these one-offs, which are pretty freaking awesome. And I mean, you don't even have to use it as a ornament. You can also just like put it on your Xbox, put it on your desk. Like, it's very cool. But I'm excited because freaking they did an original Xbox this year. So my guess is next year they are going to release a 360 and have a 360 ornament, which I 100% will be getting that one as well.
Yeah.
So I actually for all the misery that 343 and Microsoft have put us through the last 10 years, it's good to get a win every once in a while, you know?
Just the form of a Christmas ornament.
It's good to just, it's the little things. So I got 3 new ornaments this year.
Like, listen, we're simple. We're simple guys. We're so easy to please. Like, the fact that we complain as much as we do should tell you how terrible the state of the world is.
Well, and like, this is better. Tell me why a Hallmark collab is better than any merch. Like, I'm ready to spend money. And I've said this a million times. People and Halo fans are ready and willing and wanting to spend money on the franchise that they love. But you have to give us things, one, that we want or that we don't know that we want. And I didn't know I wanted an original Xbox ornament that plays the startup sound and has the Halo theme song on it. But the second I tested out the demo at Hallmark, I bought 2. I spent $50 basically. With it, I didn't even think. I didn't even blink. I was like, "Yep, need one for me, one for John. Done." And it's like people like at Xbox, Microsoft, 343 marketing division, like merch. Let's go. We don't want t-shirts and mouse pads and things covered in rainbows. We just want the things we love in a million different ways possible. Okay? Like, it's so easy. Yeah. It's so easy. And guess what? When you go on the Microsoft or the Xbox merch store, the Halo Classic tee, the Halo Classic hoodie are always sold out. Why? Because that's what people want. Like, we're not keeping it a secret. We're not keeping it a secret, man. And I've seen other people posting about these, like, dude, they have these, go get them. People, Halo fans are ready to spend money. So anyways, go pick one up. At a Hallmark store, I found this. Walgreens also has like little Hallmark sections, like end caps. That's where I got this. I don't know if they'll have the bigger ones. But yeah, see if you can find them. Also, Amazon just started selling them. So hop in there.
Got everything.
They had some other cool stuff too. They had like the van from Dumb and Dumber that's in the shape of a dog. It's like, what's it called? Shaggy Cuts or something like that. That they had that one. They had a Sega, like a Sega. I don't think it was. Which console was it? I don't know, but they had like a Sonic cartridge. It was really cool. It just had like the Sonic 2 art on it. It was like, that's sick. I'd get that. They even had the Fortnite Battle Bus, which is like, it actually looked really cool. It's very detailed. And I was like, dang, if that wasn't $22 also, I'd probably buy that. It's like really cool. And they have a lot of really, really cool stuff. So this is like the new thing that I'm actually excited about. Because they did like an NES system back in the day as well. So I want to do a video game tree for the back of my stream. And so
they had a Sonic the Hedgehog collect the rings ornament.
Yeah, that one's cool.
The loop-de-loop.
You push the button. I tested the demo. You push the button and the Sonic goes bling, 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 bling when he goes in a circle through the loop, and
that is cool.
Collects the rings. So it's really, really, they're like kind of crushing it. I'm not gonna lie. With these like keepsake ornaments, mutt cuts. That's what it's called. Mutt cuts from Dumb and Dumber. They also had a Sonic one, which is cool. It's like Sonic holding a bag with a Santa hat, which I'm like, that's actually kind of cool. They have a Magikarp, which is like super clean. I was like, dang, dude.
Oregon Trail.
The Oregon Trail on the old PC. So when you play that one, it like does the theme song. They're kind of killing it with these collabs, and I'm like here for it. They have Clark Griswold kicking over Santa in the yard. So anyways, lots of really cool stuff. So if there's a Hallmark near you, you should definitely go hit that up. But I also am a sucker for like official releases as opposed to the kind of ugly looking knockoffs that are made, So and you can attest to that, like your Xbox original ornament. It's like, dang, they got all the ridges, like it's a really good miniature replica. So I'm all about it.
What would be awesome is if they had like the like white sticker with like the cereal, but then have it punched out where the screw is. Show that it had been soft modded.
Dude, if they had that,
or like have the rubber things missing and have the screws there.
if that was a part of the design, I would personally find out the person who was responsible for that and send them an email and thank them and give them their flowers, because that would be
so cool.
The most insane next level Xbox
detail
fan.
And touch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, for the win corner, let's wrap this up. What's new with you? What's going on? Anything you'd like to share?
Not a ton going on. I've been trying to play as much Diablo Vessel of Hatred as possible.
Woo!
They added a bunch of new achievements that I'm going for, so it gives me motivation to play. I hadn't had like a ton of motivation to play through the previous seasons and things like that. Just when there's like other games with achievements to get.
Right.
So there's a couple that are pretty super grindy in this. So I don't know how many hours I've already put into Vessel of Hatred, but reaching Paragon 300 seems like it's going to take some time.
What are you right now?
I think
100 something.
I'll pull it up really quick. So that one seems like it's going to take like a while. And then also, I'm in Torment 2.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to get to Torment 3 yet, at least by myself.
Yeah.
But there's defeat 1,000 elites in Torment 4. So I'm like,
right.
really like curious what it's going to take to get to Torment 4. Because the difficulty is just like totally different from the previous seasons. Then the other one that's like kind of annoying is collecting 10,000. I don't even know how you pronounce it. I'll just say cinders in Helltides, but it's only the Nahantu Helltides.
Yeah.
And so, the Helltides are up for like 55 minutes. And then there's like a chance it might be in that region, but usually it's somewhere else. And so being online at the same time that Helltide is in that region is like proving to be rare. So and then 10,000 is kind of a lot because I haven't seen what was the one thing that you could take last season to buff the levels of the enemies?
Profane Mind Cage.
I don't think those are in this season, at least
not in Torment 2.
At least not in Torment 2. I haven't ran across any, so that's probably going to take quite a while. But I'm at Paragon 135 right now, and so it seems like the Paragon leveling has like slowed a little bit, but yeah, getting to 300 seems like it's going to be kind of a grind.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. Basically all that's new with me is just been working, got promoted to the garage, so I've been like trying to set up my stuff. And it actually it's so funny because it's like, we're in a 1-bedroom apartment in California, and now in Washington I'm in a garage. I was in a closet, then in a garage, but it's like I have a nicer chair. There's just like more room. I can roll around easily because it's actually concrete and not carpet. And so it's like it's a very little thing, but it's like when you roll around, it just makes it so much better and nicer. And so, I've just been like trying to set things up. I have a better desk. It's still small. I think I'm going to add a second one so I can like have everything here. But it's, not much is. I'm going to try and figure out what my new streaming and content strategy is and try and lock in and get consistent again. Try and just get in a rhythm, get in a flow. But the biggest thing, and everyone, if you made it this far, mark your calendars, November 11th, I'm dropping the big Halo video. I've been grinding away, editing. John, you saw a tiny, tiny, tiny little snippet. But big Halo video dropping, and so I basically played through every single Halo game in one sitting or one stream, and right now I am on Halo 4, which is the first game. Or I'm almost done with editing the Halo 4 section. So I still have to edit the Halo 5 Infinite 1. Oh, sorry, Reach 1, 2, and 3. So I have a lot of editing ahead of me.
Man.
But I'm like,
what order did you play them in?
I played them in from like worst to best because I didn't want to end on a low note. I wanted to end on like the awesome 3 I want to do 1, 2, 3 in succession. And so I was like, you know what? And I explained that in the video. Let's get these first ones out of the way. So I literally I think they call it eating the bullfrog, where you do the hardest thing first. And I just 4 or 5 infinite just right out of the gates. And so that's what I do in the video. And it's so brutal, dude. But it's like funny. It's so brutal and funny. And then we go reach 1, 2, 3. And so, I've given myself this deadline, and I'm gonna go for it, and we'll see. Halo will be. I'm trying to be really strategic about it, because Halo will be dropping. There'll be a lot of talk around Halo at that time. So I want to as a Halo content creator, I want to do my part and give content. And the other thing on that is, I don't know how the copyright's going to work out as far as some of the music I'm using. And so you'll appreciate this, John. Things get flagged on YouTube, and so sometimes you have to change songs or do whatever so that you can monetize it. And I want to monetize this video. I want to use it to fund future projects. And so what I'm going to do is right now I'm just making the purest video I can, doing the music that I want in the moments that I want, everything as pure as I want it to be, the best piece of art that I can put forward.
Yeah.
I'm going to upload that unlisted privately, see what, if any, copyrights come back. And then what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to release 2 versions. So I'll come back and I'll edit where there needs to be edited things. And I'm going to upload the purest version for channel members to watch, which will be, if there are copyright claims or whatever, then they'll be able to still watch it. It just won't be monetized. But what I think I'm going to do is release 2 versions and make the purest pure available to members who want to watch it. And then we'll still make it it's still going to be really, really good, but just some of the creative choices, it's I want to use this song right here, and it'll make the moment so good. So
love that.
Yeah. So it's exciting. I'm very excited for it. And hopefully it doesn't flop too hard. So anywho, well, we're under an hour. So
not bad.
We'll see what happens with the partner preview, and we'll be back next week. Next week on For the Win. Now it's time to play some Diablo. Comment, rate, subscribe, let us know your thoughts on everything Xbox, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.
GG's.
GG's.